Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the tea break gardener. I'm going to share with you something today really exciting for me, which is how to get houseplants for free. And today we're looking at this fabulous plant, which is a Swiss cheese plant, or Monstera deliciosa. This is a fabulous leaf. It's about 50-60 centimetres in diameter, and it's from a very old plant indeed, probably over 40 years old. And this was a cutting I took 6 months ago from that original plant. It's been in my family for 40 years. When my mother died, the plant went to my brother, was planted in his conservatory, and then when he sold that house, we couldn't, it was just too enormous, we couldn't take it with us, so he said, come and take it some cuttings, and I thought, I don't know how to do that. Quickly had a look online, saw it was easy, and went for it. And I've now got 5 cuttings from that original plant. This is the biggest one. This one behind is another one from the same plant, a bit smaller leaved, and that's because it came from the base of the plant. And when I show you how to do the cuttings, that'll become clear. So, if we just move to this plant here, this wasn't from my original family plant. This one was from a famous Swedish home store, and you can see it's a nice plant. But I think this more sort of open look, so from that one there, is a bit more appealing in most homes compared to this sort of climby, slightly mad look. But what that means is that this plant has an awful lot of potential for taking lots of cuttings for in your home or for your friends. Now, how do you know if you've got the confidence to do a cutting? If we just move down to the base here, you can see that these aerial roots here that come out of the plant, where they hit the soil, if I give that a tug, can't come up. And that's because that root has hit the soil and rooted. And in fact, I suspect all these little leaves here at the base of this plant have emerged from these little roots here. So in fact, each one of these at the base is probably a plant that if you went in there with some secateurs and a trowel and excavated away, you could probably take that off with some decent roots attached, and you're away straight away. I'm going to show you though how to take the cuttings where it's not already rooted. But knowing what we know about the aerial roots, any material that has a bit of an aerial root on it, you know it's going to root quickly. So I would say this plant here, if we take many cuttings from this and leave the lower bits a bit more light, airy look, I'll still have a lovely looking plant, but lots of material to root and to give away or use elsewhere in the home. Just one more thing I want to show you before we have a go at this plant, and that's that I'm going to root these cuttings from this directly in soil, but these cuttings actually root very easily in water. So if you see these 2 little ones, actually they came from this plant, have been in this water glass for about 6 weeks. This one here, you can see the aerial root. It's got 2 little shoots that have come off the root there to the side. Those weren't there when I put it in the water. That is ready to pot up. Teeny little plant, but it'll grow. And this one here, sorry, ignore that, didn't have the aerial root on it. Put it in water, and that is what came out of the base. So again, lovely little plant, ready to go. Could go on a windowsill or give away as a friend to a friend for a present. So we're going to have a go now at this plant here. Have a look what material exists for the cutting. This is where you go in here, below what is the leaf node. If I go in there, there's a lovely little aerial root ready to root. Alternatively, I could come down here and have a much bigger plant with a lovely open shape. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in here with my florist scissors, snip. That's a nice little piece of cutting material ready to pot up. I think with this one again I'm going to go quite large. I'm going to go under here. Again, aerial root coming off under the node in there, snip. Nice shape. So that's 2 decent ones off this already. have a look for a third. I think I'm going to go with this one here. Again, snip under the node. Third lovely plant. So, let's have a pot up of those now. So I don't use anything fancy for these. I just use normal multi-purpose compost because all my house plants, every now and again I'll feed them anyway. So the compost is slightly irrelevant, I think. I need to find a pot that's the right sort of size to put one of these up. I save all my old pots whenever I buy a plant. These aren't particularly attractive compared to these nice glazed or terracotta pots. But once you've got these rooted, you can always move them. These ones actually I did just root straight into these big pots because I knew they'd be a bit heavy. I didn't really want to move them about. Right, so in with a trowel, put some compost in. Now these have got fairly long things. I might actually remove this leaf because I think it might be slightly under the compost. Nope, I'm going to leave it. Right, so a bit more compost. Place it in. More compost around it. Once it's sort of held in place by the compost, it's worth just going in with your fingers. Just press it down a bit. There you go, it's nice and stable. I'm going to take that, actually I might just bend that root down so that it's held in the soil and it's just got another chance for a root to take hold. There we are. Last couple of scoops and it's done. So I'd now stand that in a saucer, give it a bit of water, keep it moist, not overly damp though, just enough to keep some moisture in the soil. And within, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks, I think those roots will have taken hold and this plant will begin to grow. Obviously the best sign of success that you know something is rooted is when a new leaf forms. So if you just have a quick look on this plant here, you can see, if you come around this side, this is a new leaf. This will open up and out of that, almost like a book leaf opening up, will emerge a new leaf. And I knew when my big cuttings like this took when that happened, and it was a great day. The other thing you can do if you're interested in propagation or you're slightly worried about, will your plant root, is to root it in something like this, which is a glass pot. Obviously there's no drainage holes in this, so you have to be careful not to overwater. But I thought it'd be quite an interesting thing to do, to root it in something like that, because then you'll be able to see when the roots have developed. You can probably see through the side of the glass. So that's another nice idea to try. And that, as they say, is that. Go for the water method, stick them straight in soil. I think you'll find you have success anyway, and you'll have lovely little plants like that to give to your friends.